with Iran has entered its fourth day. Israel says it's launching simultaneous strikes on the Lebanese capital, Beirut, and the Iranian capital, Tehran. Well, these pictures show the aftermath of the strikes in Beirut. Israel says it's been hitting Iran-backed Hezbollah strongholds in the south of the city. Hezbollah says it's targeted 3 Israeli bases in response. Iran's been striking back across the region. The US State Department says American citizens should leave the Middle East.
Welcome back. Let me take you to some live pictures in Beirut. You will see that there are large pillars of smoke now billowing above the skyline there in the southern part of the city as those strikes on Hezbollah targets continue. Yolande Knell is watching all this from Jerusalem for us. I was reading this morning, Yolande, that Israel had maintained 5 outposts on the high ground within Lebanese territory. That was a hangover from the war in 2024. But what the IDF has announced this morning seems to go much, much further than that.
That's right. So basically, you'll remember that in parallel to the war in Gaza, there was cross-border fighting that went on between Israel and the Lebanese armed group Hezbollah. Then in late 2024, the US brokered this ceasefire deal between Israel and Lebanon. That led to a partial withdrawal of Israeli forces. It was supposed to ultimately go to a full withdrawal, with the Lebanese army taking up positions in the south of Lebanon. But, you know, we still had the Israeli army in those 5 positions. What has happened overnight, according to the Israeli Defense Forces spokesman, is that there were additional forces that were sent into southern Lebanon. They have tried not to present this as being a new ground incursion, but they have said that the aim is to create a new buffer zone that will protect Israeli civilians living in the north of Israel. Back during that period of intense fighting with Hezbollah, some 60,000 Israelis had to leave their homes. So they're saying that they're doing this to assure them that there won't be a cross-border raid by Hezbollah, and also to protect them from incoming rocket fire as well, to try to push back any Hezbollah remnants on the ground. We understand from Lebanese media reports that the Lebanese army had already left from some of these positions, anticipating this Israeli move.
Just briefly, Yolande, this is a disaster for the Lebanese government, an economy already on its knees, and no surprise, really, that they've been distancing themselves from Hezbollah and moved to arrest those that have been firing rockets.
Yes, indeed. And it has been, you know, a real blow to Lebanese sovereignty to have these additional forces going in to southern Lebanon. It does look like, you know, really this undermines the success of the 2024 ceasefire plan, even if that had seemed to be very shaky at times. We've had the Lebanese Prime Minister in the last day calling Hezbollah's decision to enter this war on the side of Iran, its long-time backer, calling that irresponsible. We know it's caused a lot of anger inside Lebanon, but you have the Israeli military, Israeli political figures saying that Hezbollah must now pay a heavy price for its decision to go with Iran, to take actions attacking Israel, basically saying that this is about avenging the killing of the Iranian Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei.
Yolande Knell in Jerusalem, thank you very much indeed. Well, what about the basis for this war with Iran? In less than a week, the White House has offered 4 different justifications for it. Each one has been questioned. In his State of the Union address last week, Donald Trump claimed Iran was working to build missiles that would soon reach the United States. The first time any US official has suggested Iran was close to developing an intercontinental ballistic missile.
They've already developed missiles that can threaten Europe and our bases overseas, and they're working to build missiles that will soon reach the United States of America. After Midnight Hammer, they were warned to make no future attempts to rebuild their weapons program, and in particular, nuclear weapons, yet they continue.
Analysts say that assertion is not supported by US intelligence. An intelligence assessment published last year concluded Iran could develop a viable ICBM by 2035, nearly a decade away. As far as we are aware, that assessment has not changed. Last night, the position shifted again. In an interview with the BBC, the Secretary of State Marco Rubio said the United States was concerned Israel was about to attack Iran, and fearing Tehran would retaliate against American forces in the region, the White House had decided it would strike preemptively.
The President made the very wise decision. We knew that there was going to be an Israeli action. We knew that that would precipitate an attack against American forces. And we knew that if we didn't preemptively go after them before they launched those attacks, we would suffer higher casualties and perhaps even higher those killed. And then we would all be here answering questions about why we knew that and didn't act.
Last night, Benjamin Netanyahu laughed off suggestions that he had dragged Washington into war, calling it ridiculous.
I mean, that's ridiculous. Donald Trump is the strongest leader in the world. He does what he thinks is right for America. He does also what he thinks is right for future generations. And frankly, we're partners in that effort because I've devoted my life to securing the life of the one and only Jewish state. And believe me, it's been a struggle.
Is it ridiculous? Israel certainly has influence over White House policy. On Sunday, the Israeli Prime Minister admitted this operation had allowed him to do what he had yearned to do for 40 years. Donald Trump has always complained that the 2015 nuclear agreement signed by President Obama did not include a moratorium on ballistic missiles. At a White House event yesterday, he said the goal now is to destroy it. His Secretary of War says it is there as a shield for nuclear blackmail.
Iran was building powerful missiles and drones to create a conventional shield for their nuclear blackmail ambitions. Let me say that again. A conventional shield for their nuclear blackmail ambitions.
But it's also worth noting that last year Mr. Trump said the US had obliterated Iran's nuclear facilities. Bomb damage assessments have since concluded that they'd been significantly degraded, not put beyond use indefinitely.
To know where people are and to provide updates and advice. Members will know that in many of these countries the airspace is still closed, but I'm in close contact with my counterparts across the region, speaking again yesterday with the UAE on the excellent support that they are providing and some of the departures that they are now securing as this becomes viable. And we are also working with airlines on increasing capacity out of Muscat for British nationals, with priority for vulnerable nationals. And a government charter flight will fly from Muscat in the coming days, prioritising vulnerable nationals. But British nationals in Oman must wait to be contacted by the Foreign Office regarding these options, and we will continue to work 24/7 on supporting British nationals in the region. I would tell the House this is a very fast-moving situation. We have unprecedented numbers of British nationals in the region, and I will continue to update members and affected British nationals as the situation evolves.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We're all deeply concerned about the escalating situation in the Gulf. Following the PM's statement yesterday, has the Secretary of State had any discussions with her counterparts in the US, Europe or Israel about measures to secure any nuclear or radiological material in Iran in light of the possibility of its trafficking due to current events?
Foreign Secretary.
It's right to raise this issue. It is extremely important that Iran is not able to develop a nuclear weapon. There are also obviously concerns about the security of materials as well. It is an issue, obviously, we continue to work closely with our operational partners.
Foreign Secretary Dame Priti Patel.
Mr. Speaker, the government's indecision on how to deal with Iran has left the UK weaker and undermined our own security. But as the House has already started to discuss, prescribing the IRGC will strengthen our position. So, I actually prescribed Hamas when I was Home Secretary, so I've dealt with state prescriptions. The Foreign Secretary, in her role as Home Secretary last year, spoke about bringing forward the Hall Review and the recommendations and to bring forward a series of powers. When will she and her government, and I'm going to make a suggestion here for her, bring forward the parliamentary time that is essential so we can have emergency legislation to prescribe the IRGC? And if she desperately needs parliamentary time that is not timetabled so far, would she scrap the Chagos surrender bill so we can legislate to do this now?
Well, again, I just point out we have had a record number of former Conservative and still Conservative Home Office ministers coming forward to call for things that they failed to do while they were in government. I would say to her, this government is determined to bring forward the legislation to take forward the Jonathan Hall Review, but it is legislation that the Conservative government could have done over very many years in order to strengthen the legislation. And we will also strengthen the action on our streets and internationally on the Iranian threat.
Mr. Speaker, events in the Middle East remind us how important our collective defence and security at the base of Diego Garcia is, and the whole of the Chagos archipelago, and nothing should be done to undermine that. Now, given the latest comments from the President of the United States on the importance of the base and the folly, Mr. Speaker, in giving sovereignty away, will the Foreign Secretary finally do what's right for the defence of our country and British taxpayers and British Chagosians and tear up the terrible Labour Chagos surrender treaty?
Just say to the Shadow Foreign Secretary that this government believes that decisions should be made in the UK national interest, according to UK values, not according to any other government's national interest, whether that be across Europe, the US, the Middle East or beyond.